In the past week, I've analyzed Haitham from top to bottom on my channel. However, I didn't show too many of my calculation numbers to you, and one of the reasons was that beta is continuously getting updated, which makes all numbers subject to change to a high degree until his release. Sadly, in today's beta update, Haitham has received big all-around nerfs, in a rather uncommon manner. In fact, usually, beta adjustments are rather vague in terms of what they actually mean, and MiHoYo rarely straight up nerfs characters during this process, so what happened today was rather shocking. Without further ado, let's get straight into it to analyze what happened. Haitham received a complete overhaul in terms of multipliers on his kit, as each one of his talents has decreased in terms of damage percentage. Starting from his normal and charged attack talent, his charged attack multiplier is now about 50% smaller in total. This can be more or less relevant depending on the rotation you plan to use. In my most recently tested rotation, I didn't include too many charged attacks, as there wasn't a significant advantage in spamming charged attacks pre-nerf either, since its internal cooldown is shared with Haitham's normal attacks, meaning you can't proc spread with every charged attack, differently from characters like Hu Tao who can proc vaporize every charged attack. For this reason, this change is not that big of a deal. Now, about his elemental skill, its initial damage decreased by a huge amount, and the level 1 mirror also got a significant decrease, while the level 2 and level 3 mirrors stayed relatively the same. Regarding the initial skill damage, it's a pretty bad nerf, but not incredibly significant overall since that's just a minuscule part of his rotation damage. The nerf to his level 1 mirror damage is more impactful, although that depends on your rotation, just like the charged attack nerfs. In fact, there are rotations that don't include level 1 mirror procs at all, but rather just level 2 or 3. For those this change is irrelevant. However, this limits the flexibility of Haitham's rotations as a whole, which were previously quite flexible instead, allowing all kinds of combinations with similar damage results for all. This last part gets even worse when you look at the nerf to his elemental burst, which took a huge hit in terms of damage multiplier. This not only considerably devalues rotations that relied on burst usage with 2 or 3 mirror stacks but also almost completely kills Haitham's potential viability as a burst damage dealer, meaning that he's fully transitioned to a standard sustained DPS role now. The last nerf is the worst one, as the damage buff he receives from his Ascension passive also got decreased. This is worse than other nerfs, since while you can minimize the impact of other nerfs by changing your Haitham rotation, this is a straight-up damage nerf for all rotations. As a whole, if I had to categorize the nerfs, the multiplier changes to his kit were a way to restrict his flexibility as a damage dealer and direct him toward a specific playstyle, while the Ascension 4 nerf weakens him as a whole. In specific terms, you want 3 things from your Haitham now, which you didn't necessarily have to care about before the nerf. In order to maximize your rotation damage with him, you'll have to minimize the impact of his elemental burst, charged attack and level 1 mirror, meaning that rotations with a lot of normal attacks, and burst usage with 0 stacks, are now more convenient than ever. The rotation I've shown you in the video so far fits the role, as it will allow you to hit with as many level 3 mirror procs as possible, and only uses a charged attack to gain an extra mirror stack thanks to his Ascension 1 passive, which luckily didn't get nerfed yet. If you use this combo, the damage nerf should be just 10% throughout a whole rotation, which is a bad thing, but maybe better than what the nerfs made it look like at first glance. Keep in mind that, since Haitham is generally not a hypercarry, this damage loss for him isn't a huge hit for his teams, who generally also can count on other sub-DPS damage or heavy reaction damage. In fact, for bloom teams, and to an extent quick bloom teams as well, you won't have to care about this change in a significant way. Meanwhile, for spread teams, which are the comps that rely on Haitham's personal damage the most, it's a more significant hit. Since Haitham looked quite strong before the nerfs, this isn't a deadly hit for his viability. However, this definitely brings him down to a more average level in terms of 5 stars releases, from what it looks like, depending on the teams you want to use him on. I'm done for today. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.